What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actors reaches his breaking point on live television? Danny DeVito, known for his laid-back demeanor and infectious humor, found himself in a heated exchange that nobody saw coming. The tension in the studio was palpable, and what started as a routine interview quickly spiraled into one of the most uncomfortable moments in daytime television history. Before we get into what Joy Behar said that set everything off, make sure you subscribe and drop a comment below telling us what you think really happened here. Danny walked onto the View set with his trademark swagger, waving to the audience as they erupted in applause. He settled into the guest chair, that familiar grin spreading across his face as he adjusted his suit jacket, instantly putting the room at ease. Whoopi Goldberg led the introductions, thanking him warmly for being there and praising his decades-long career. Danny responded with humor and humility, joking about loving his work and crediting pasta for his longevity, drawing easy laughter from the crowd. The early part of the conversation felt effortless. Sarah Haynes asked about his upcoming projects and the changing landscape of Hollywood, and Danny answered thoughtfully, talking about authenticity, storytelling, and respecting the audience's intelligence. Sunny Hostin complimented his ability to bring heart to both comedy and drama, referencing everything from Taxi to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Danny seemed genuinely touched, nodding appreciatively and sharing stories from his early theater days, his work behind the camera, and the lessons he'd learned over decades in the industry. The audience leaned in, fully engaged, laughing at his jokes and listening closely when he turned reflective. It felt like a classic, comfortable daytime interview, the kind viewers had seen countless times before. But as the minutes passed, the tone subtly shifted. Joy Behar leaned forward, her expression sharpening as she prepared her question. The playful energy in the studio dimmed just slightly, though few noticed at first. Danny, still relaxed, turned toward her, expecting another light-hearted exchange. Instead, Joy began probing his political outspokenness, questioning how he reconciled his strong opinions with a career built on playing deeply flawed, often immoral characters. The room fell quiet. Danny's smile tightened, his posture stiffening as he asked her to clarify. Joy pressed on, framing his work as profiting from bad behavior while lecturing others about values. In that moment, the atmosphere changed completely. The easy laughter vanished, replaced by a tense silence as everyone sensed they were crossing into dangerous territory. Danny responded calmly at first, explaining the basic distinction between acting and real life, but Joy continued, suggesting that actors who pretend for a living shouldn't influence political discourse. The implication hung heavy in the air. Danny's jaw clenched as he let her finish, his patience clearly thinning. Other hosts exchanged uneasy glances, and Whoopi tried to soften the moment, but Danny stopped her. He wanted Joy to say exactly what she meant. Encouraged, Joy doubled down, arguing that audiences had every right to question his credibility when he spoke about values. That's when Danny's composure cracked. His voice sharpened, and he called the argument ignorant, explaining that acting was about holding up a mirror to society, not endorsing the behavior portrayed. Gasps rippled through the studio as he continued, passionately defending the craft and the right of artists to speak on political and social issues. He spoke about citizenship, free speech, and the absurdity of suggesting that playing a villain made someone morally suspect. Whoopi attempted to intervene again, but Danny raised his hand, insisting this was bigger than a single comment. It was about respect for artists, for audiences, and for the idea that creative work could challenge and educate. Joy tried to interject, but Danny accused her of implying he should stay in his lane. His frustration was no longer contained. He pointed out what he saw as hypocrisy, noting that Joy herself used her platform daily to influence public opinion. The tension escalated rapidly, with Sunny and Sarah attempting to mediate while Alyssa Farah Griffin looked visibly uncomfortable. When Joy claimed her role as a journalist gave her more authority, Danny laughed bitterly, questioning who decided who was qualified to speak. The exchange grew more personal, more heated, and the audience sat frozen, unsure whether they were witnessing a debate or a full-blown meltdown. The friendly interview had completely unraveled. The confrontation reached a boiling point when Joy accused Danny of being part of a Hollywood elite unable to handle criticism. Danny shot back, incredulous, pointing out the irony of her statement given her own powerful platform. The words came faster now, sharper, as Sarah tried desperately to redirect the conversation toward common ground. Danny briefly softened, agreeing that everyone had a right to express opinions, but quickly returned to his central point. That Joy's question was designed to diminish him and others like him. When he called the idea that celebrities should stay silent idiotic, the audience reacted audibly, split between applause and shock. Joy responded with biting sarcasm, reducing acting to playing dress up. The studio went dead silent. Danny stood up slowly, his anger now unmistakable. Whoopi urged him to sit, clearly worried, but he refused. Standing over the panel, he explained what acting truly meant to him: research, empathy, immersion in human experience. He spoke about studying people, understanding motivations, and using that insight to explore the human condition. His voice carried a raw intensity as he argued that this lifelong pursuit of understanding gave him every right to speak on complex issues. Joy dismissed his explanation as romanticized, reminding him he wasn't a policy expert. Danny fired back, pointing out that neither was she. Yet that hadn't stopped her from commenting daily on politics and economics. The back and forth grew relentless. Sonny tried again to find common ground, suggesting everyone wanted to make the world better. Danny disagreed, insisting the real issue was respect and the attempt to silence certain voices. Joy accused him of being unable to take criticism, and Danny responded coldly, warning that this wasn't him losing it. The threat in his tone prompted Whoopi to call for a commercial break, but Danny refused, saying Joy had started this conversation on live television and he intended to finish it. The sense of control in the studio was gone, replaced by raw emotion and uncertainty about what would happen next. As the final minutes ticked down, the exchange turned more philosophical. Joy mocked Danny's talk of speaking truth to power, calling him a rich actor in a bubble. Danny immediately mirrored the accusation, pointing out her own wealth and influence. The difference, he said, was that he had never suggested she should be silent. That question seemed to stop her momentarily. Sarah seized the pause, emphasizing that democracy depended on everyone's right to participate, regardless of profession. Danny agreed, reiterating that he hadn't come to fight, but wouldn't accept being disrespected. Joy insisted she was twisting nothing and stood by her question, while Danny argued it revealed a deeper, dismissive attitude toward artists. With time running out, Whoopi pleaded to end on a positive note. Danny agreed, asking Joy if she had anything to add. She restated her position about the disconnect she perceived. Danny calmly replied that there was no disconnect, only a commitment to honest storytelling and a desire for a better world. Alyssa finally spoke, acknowledging the nuance of the issue and the validity of disagreement. Danny thanked her, saying nuance was all he'd wanted from the start. Joy crossed her arms, offering a half apology without regret. Danny responded not by demanding an apology, but by asserting that listening was a choice audiences made for themselves. As the segment closed, the panel sat in uneasy silence. The audience still divided. What was meant to be another light-hearted celebrity appearance had turned into a defining, uncomfortable moment, one that left viewers questioning not just what was said, but who gets to decide whose voice matters.